You may have seen a new graphics card on the market, the AMD RX 9070 GRE, and you may be wondering, what is the difference, what's the price difference, and why would I look at that card over something like a 9070 or 9070 XT?
Spoiler, if you're watching in July, there really is no reason to go with the 9070 GRE over the 9070 because they're very close in price, but we think there's more to the story, and we think in the future, especially if you're watching this later than the video's release, there's going to be something that you're going to have to consider when it comes to the price of both of these GPUs, and we're going to talk about that after a word from today's sponsor.
If you've been thinking about upgrading your setup before school starts back up, you need to check out today's video sponsor, Micro Center. Their back-to-school savings are happening right now, with monthly specials and limited-time deals on laptops, PC components, monitors, peripherals, and plenty more. One deal I found is this Ryzen 7500X 3D bundle with 16 gigs of DDR5 and a B850M for just $350. And if you're in Texas, there's even more exciting news. Austin is getting its very own Micro Center. Be sure to sign up ahead of time because you'll be able to claim a free 128 gig flash drive when the store officially opens. Plus, over in Ohio, the Columbus Micro Center is also celebrating with a grand reopening. You can sign up for another 328 gig flash drive there as well. And if you like staying up to date on new hardware, build guides, and everything happening at Micro Center in the tech space, don't forget to check out Micro Center News. If you're interested in learning more, be sure to check out the links in the description down below. Big thanks to Micro Center for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to it.
So on paper, it's pretty obvious. The 9070 GRE is a cut down 9070. It has 4 less gigs of VRAM, it uses a little less power, it has overall just less clock speed, and you're getting a little less performance than the 9070, but we don't know exactly how much that is, and that's why we're going to be doing this benchmarking video while also talking about the value proposition, because inevitably the 9070 we know is going to get more expensive, so what price will it take for us to tell you to buy the 9070 GRE instead?
Speaking of the 9070 getting more expensive, it's not a very well kept secret in the industry. A lot of these companies are already hinting at the fact that AMD is already going to have to increase prices again for their higher end GPUs that have 16 gigs of VRAM just because of all the RAM shortages we're dealing with right now. So it is inevitable that that graphics card is not going to be at the price it is right now. But if you're watching today and you're debating between the two GPUs, pause the video, close it out, buy the 9070 non-XT, call it a day. You'll be much happier because you're only spending maybe $50 more, sometimes $100, it really depends, but that's definitely the better bang for buck. But if you're watching this 4 months from now, 3 months from now, maybe even 6 months from now, you may have noticed, oh wow, there's actually like $150, $200 price difference between the two cards. Well, we're going to show you guys the difference in today's video so then you at home can decide at that point in time, is going with the cheaper 9070 GRE actually worth it? Well, let's talk about some of the key specs you should know about the two GPUs to give you a clearer picture on the differences between the two, and then we'll talk about how we're going to test them.
So to kick things off, we got the more expensive card. We have here a Power Color Reaper RX 9070, and this is the non-XT version with 16 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM, and this card released March 6th of 2025 with an MSRP of $549 USD. It is PCIe Gen 5x16, so you kind of want to use this in newer systems to get the best performance. 16 gigs of GDDR6, and it has a max TDP of 220 watts. Now, our specific card requires 2 8-pins for power, and then we have a total of 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI.
Now, the exact same model, but for the 9070 GRE, we have another Power Color Reaper 9070 GRE, which comes in at an MSRP of $549. This card was actually released on May 8th of 2025 outside of the US, but on June 1st of 2026 was released here in the US, so this isn't necessarily a new card. It has existed for a little while. It has PCI 5.0x16 support, 12 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM, and a TDP of 220 watts, and because we have the exact same models here, we have the same 2 8-pins for power and the exact same video out, 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI. I mean, look at these cards. You cannot tell the difference between the two. They are exactly the same for power color, so you know what? You're only going to see a real difference here between them in terms of price performance.
If we swapped them a couple times, we might not know which card's which.
The only thing that's showing the difference is the sticker on the back, by the way. Remove this, we would have no idea. But with these two GPUs, we're going to be diving into benchmarking in 2 different ways. We're going to do our Let's Play benchmarks, which we like to think is our unique way of standing out here on YouTube. We'll do some live action gameplay on these graphics cards so you guys can see what the FPS looks like in real time and not get bored by looking at graphs. Then we'll do side-by-side benchmarks with built-in benchmark tools and 3D Mark, our benchmark utility we like to use, to give you all some actual side-by-side testing of both GPUs at the same time so you can yield the best results and which one is the best bang for buck. But let's talk about that test bench real quick we will be using for both graphics cards.
For our Toasty Bros test bench, we have the Ryzen 7 9800X3D 8-core 16-threaded processor. And to cool the CPU, we're using the Asus ROG Strix LC3 360mm AIO. The motherboard is an Asus TUF Gaming B850 Plus Wi-Fi DDR5 board. We have 32 gigs of Team Group Delta RGB 6000 MHz CL28 RAM. Our NVMe is a 4TB Lexar NM790 Gen 4 SSD. We have plenty of power with the Asus TUF 1200 watt power supply that is fully modular and ATX 3.1 ready. Our case is the Asus TUF GT502, which is a pretty large full tower case, and then we loaded it with Asus TUF TR120mm ARGB fans. So now that we talked about both of these GPUs, we talked about our test bench, it's time to do some benchmarking and see which one reigns superior for the price. Ladies and gentlemen, Bench Marcus is back.
Ah!
And right now we're testing the 9070 GRE, which is a card that came out, pretty recently. We got 12 gigs of VRAM. Basically a dumbed down 9070 or 9070 XT. And we're at 1440p, high settings, and we're not using any upscaling at the moment.
We do got some ray tracing on, set to medium right now. So hardware ray tracing is on, running pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's running great. And I mean, we kind of expected that because this card is, I would almost say, between like a 5060 Ti and like a 5070. If you're looking for NVIDIA comparisons. And for AMD, it's just obvious. It's between the 9060 XT 16 gig and the 9070 essentially in terms of its raw performance, just with less VRAM than either of those cards. You're gonna get good 1440p performance. We really think that the reason this card exists is because AMD, just like every other company, is kind of preparing for RAM to get almost unobtainable, or at least so expensive that people are like, okay, less, like we can't pay these prices. But yeah, basically with this card pretty much being only like $20 cheaper than the normal 9070, obviously we're gonna say all day, every day, get the normal 9070, but you might be watching this video in a month or two when maybe there's a $70 difference. And that's why this video is going to exist, is for the future reference of when you're buying this card, is it worth it?
We've always argued 12 gigs is plenty
Yeah.
for 1440p gaming. So this card makes sense in that regard. It's just the pricing right now is a little weird, but hey, you can see the performance difference. And yeah, looking like an average of about 88, 1% low of 64. We'll run with that and see what the 9070 non-GRE can do.
All right guys, we're now on the RX 9070, so we now have 16 gigs of VRAM to work with here, and obviously just a generally faster card too, which is something to keep in mind. We're still doing 1440p, we got high, we got the medium, ray tracing, no upscaling. For Bench Marcus on Oblivion, so what did we get before?
Last time we got an average of 88 with a 1% low of 64.
Okay.
So we are getting a bit more, especially in the 1% low department right now, but then the average FPS is a bit higher.
Yeah, and obviously something to keep in mind too is, look at things like the wattages as well, especially if you're in a place where power is a problem. That's a little bit of a difference. Look at the VRAM. That's why we give you all these specs and stuff that you can look at, or analytics, I should say. We're clearly doing a little better, which makes sense. There should be like $100-ish difference, like 50 to 100 bucks. So it's really just up to you guys on, if you feel like you're seeing it or not.
With the price of these cards being so close right now, this is really just a good way, again, as we mentioned, to foreshadow what we think is probably going to happen. Is that even though these cards might be within a few bucks of each other right now, that can definitely not be the case here very soon if they start increasing the price of the 9070 and 9070 XT because of the memory shortage. 16 gigs of RAM is going to be harder to come by, so 12 is the easier alternative. It's a good way for you guys to see what the actual difference is. I don't think the 9070 GRE is a bad card.
No, I mean, and as you can see, now that we've kind of reached towards the end,
12 FPS average difference.
It's not as crazy as you would think, and I know everyone that's on the VRAM train is like, oh, help me, we get less VRAM, but we obviously are afford more VRAM if the consumer can afford it, but sometimes you just can't. Let's go ahead and stop this here. We'll say 100 average, 63 or 64 1% low.
Next game. All right, guys, we are now in LEGO Batman, the new LEGO Batman game that released on the market, and we're running the following settings. We're currently on 1440p with Avatar set to balanced on high settings. And honestly, based on the FPS we're getting, we could probably max this bad boy out if we wanted to. But I swear, this LEGO Batman game has no business looking so good.
No, the way that it looks, plays, it's Spider-Man 2, apparently.
It's basically Spider-Man. I'm in the open world. You can kind of swing around. Yeah, this is running really well. It's fun seeing games like this that are pretty well optimized. I'm assuming LEGO games would be easier to run, obviously, because of just the textures and stuff, but the visuals just look really good. The reflections are really nice. VRAM wise, only pulling about 8 gigs of VRAM, so the 12 gigs, not a problem with this one. You can even get away with an 8 gig card with a little bit of help from your system memory, but it's holding up very, very well, very smooth.
Oh my god.
Yo! Pretty crazy.
Everyone's like running.
Oh no,
God.
Batman! Oh, Batman!
You're supposed to be good.
No, Batman is not good. Batman don't do good things.
Oh, he's in a wheel. He just rolled in a wheelchair.
Yo, don't worry about that. Yo! Sorry, Gordon. It's fine. Let me exit the vehicle.
I don't know who would pick Cyberpunk over this. Dude.
I don't know. This is kind of fire. Let's go up here real quick and we'll get our final numbers. GPU's maxed out, looking pretty good. Average of 112, 1% low of 75. I'd imagine the 9070 will do better, but it's not like this is unplayable. This is actually very playable. But let's see what the 9070 can do. All right, guys, we are now in LEGO Batman on the 9070 non-GRE. Let's go ahead and hit our page up right here, but looking somewhat similar. I am noticing some dips into the 90s here and there, but realistically, I did swing all the way around the city, so we'll get similar averages as we run around. Not gonna be a perfect apples-to-apples comparison. That is what our side-by-side benchmarks are for later in the video. Oh, I can actually fight some people? Yeah. Get on down here. And as you guys can see, the FPS in some areas is a lot higher. I mean, right now I'm in a spot where I'm getting 160 FPS, which is definitely higher than it needs to be. This is the kind of game where with this card, I didn't mean, sorry, Jim. I didn't mean to hit you, Jim.
Commissioner Gordon.
Get him. You get one side, I got the other side. Oh no, don't kill me. Oh no.
Get an exclamation, does that just mean he's strong?
Maybe. I'm used to playing this game with controller too, so I don't know if my parry, there. Oh!
Dude, look at the crazy combo you all just did together.
That was a crazy combo. But the FPS numbers on both of these cards is more than acceptable. Like, I personally, if this was a big price difference, obviously we're gonna go with the better card if they're the same price, or if it's like a $20 difference, go with the card with more VRAM. But if you're watching this in the future and it's 100, $150, $200 difference, you'd be very happy with the 9070 GRE if you're mainly playing games like this, because VRAM-wise, running close to 16 gigs at 1440p. You could also go into 4K as well on this if you wanted to. If you're just aiming for that 60 FPS experience, this game looks really good, so it'll look even better at 4K. Here we go, yeah, baby. I do love that I just push cars.
Yeah. Dude, you kind of look like you're like kind of aiming for these people.
No, I'm not. They just happen to be in the way. But one stop, 135 average, 1% low of 81. Before we got an average of 112 with a 1% low of 75. So kind of that same, just maybe like 15 to 20 frame improvement in some scenarios. Sometimes it's only 10. We saw that in Oblivion Remastered. Let's go and move on to another game and see what the results are.
I stroke my pickle.
All right, guys, we are in ARC Raiders. You guys know this is a nice demanding game that looks really good, but it'll run on just about anything. But let's hop outside here and I'm gonna show you guys these settings where we got rain too. So we are currently running 1440p. We decided to do upscaling with this one because we think these cards are amazing for upscaling. AMD FSR set to quality and dynamic medium ray tracing high settings. The game looks absolutely amazing. I think this is like meta settings if you have a decent build is the way I would put it. And obviously this build, it's pretty dang solid right now.
Yeah, you can definitely crank it too if you want to go like higher details, if you're just looking for that 60 FPS average. But if you're on PC, you want to enjoy high refresh rate a little bit, getting 100 plus FPS is pretty smooth while also looking this dang good. This game always amazes me with VRAM usage. Like, it just does not, it says, nah, I don't want it.
4.5 gigs. 90% of the games that you can actually even play, they don't often need more than like realistically 6 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah.
Just depends on what settings you're trying to run and what resolution.
You can make it work, and it is disappointing that we think this will be the new $550 GPU and you're technically getting less, but it's still cool that this GPU does perform well, and in the games that don't require VRAM, you'll end up getting still very good performance even in the midst of everything we're dealing with, but we'll see what the pricing ends up being in the long term.
Let's go ahead and start the extraction. We must prove a point. I can't tell if this is the really big one.
It looks like the really big one.
It's just close, bro. It's just close.
Oh.
Bro, it's... Oh, they're
it
fighting
found
someone
someone
else.
Oh, no.
I gotta help him.
Help him out from a distance.
That thing does have a shield on it, which I'm not used to seeing.
The shield's pretty crazy.
Are the ARC OP now?
Oh.
He's missing?
Oh, damaged
they
ARC,
are.
damaged ARC. They were missing.
Oh my God.
Yo, it's going in hot. It wants you now.
Oh.
Your buddy.
Oh, he said, I want to get out of here, bro.
He said, get me out. This is scary.
So let's go ahead and pause. We're gonna say 134 average, 93, 1% low. It's kind of crazy to think that the 9070 should do better than this.
Let's see what it can do.
All right, guys, we are back in ARC Raiders, and the good news is it's raining again. So we're still using upscaling, quality FSR, high settings. We do have some ray tracing turned on. Still 1440p, which obviously we'd probably get similar results if we ran 1080p. The card would still be probably about 10-ish% better in most scenarios. Really, that should go all the way up to even 4K. 4K, actually, this card might have an even slight more advantage because it uses more VRAM.
Yeah.
Not in this game, though.
Yeah, not in this game at all. Last time we got an average of 134 with a 1% low of 93. Well, Jackson survived this guy.
Screw you! Oh!
Oh!
Dude, why does it feel like sometimes these guns are just so powerful? Yeah, this, is what we were getting before. This seems a good amount better.
134, the 1% low of 93. So we're looking about 20 frames on average right now.
We're talking about over 100 FPS. Realistically, that would be about 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
It's better, but it's not like, you gotta think, if you're paying 500 for, let's just say the GRE's 500, 10% more would be 550.
Yeah.
So realistically, it's like,
It almost scales.
and I will say the XT price, in my opinion, even though I love the XT, I think it's a stupid difference.
Yes.
Because I don't even know if there's a 10% gap between the normal and the XT, and right now we're talking upwards of $200 over just the 9070, not even the GRE.
Oh no.
Why is he coming up? Oh my God, someone,
Oh,
no,
it's your worst nightmare.
I'm running.
And you have one
I'm
bullet
running.
in it. Oh no.
Why is this not open?
Oh no, it's opening, it's opening. You have to
Is
go.
it?
There it goes, get in there.
shit.
Ah!
Why is he camping me?
Ah! Oh no. Oh no, you are so, oh, you're good, you're
We need
good.
to close,
Wow.
we need to close. All right, average 156, 1% low, 104.
Not too bad in terms of the Let's Play benchmarks, but we're gonna do some side-by-side testing with our built-in benchmark tools, a couple other games, including Forza 6, so you guys can see the difference side by side. But so far, in terms of our whole theory, 9070 GRE, not a bad card, but with the 9070 at the same price, I was gonna go that direction, but in the future, that may change. Alright guys, so we had some fun with some Let's Play benchmarks, showing you guys the live action gameplay difference between the 9070 and the 9070 GRE. Now let's switch things up and use some built-in benchmark tools to further see the difference between the two. And the first game we ran was Forza Horizon 6. We ran this at 1440p on ultra settings with no upscaling. We want to see raw GPU horsepower here, and with the 9070 GRE we got an average of 116 FPS versus the normal 9070, which got an average of 134 FPS. This is kind of the gap we noticed during the Let's Play benchmarks, and it's showing the same in a new game like Forza Horizon 6 that's very demanding, but also is pretty well optimized at the same time. And when you're running some ray tracing on these presets, you're getting pretty good performance on both cards, and you're not really dealing with a VRAM bottleneck on either one. But again, if they're basically the same price or a $50 difference, might as well go with the one with extra VRAM at the time recording this video. Next up, we ran CS2 1440p high settings, and we ran high settings as a way to make sure the GPUs are the main focus in this benchmark. Normal people playing CS2 are running lower details for competitive settings, but do keep that in mind. And with the 9070 GRE, we got an average of 335 FPS, the 1% low of 179. And with the 9070 non-GRE, we actually got a massive difference, an average of 454 FPS with a 1% low of 251. This was definitely an outlier in terms of FPS performance compared to all the other games we saw, but it does seem like for whatever reason, the 9070 non-GRE is more well optimized for a game like CS2. So if you like to run higher details in CS and play at 1440p, it's definitely a no-brainer to go with that 9070. Next up, we ran Assassin's Creed Shadows 1440p on very high settings, and this time we introduced some FSR upscaling, running FSR on balance. And with the 9070 GRE, we got an average of 80 FPS, a minimum of 47, and a random max of 215. But then with the 9070 non-GRE, we got an average of 97 FPS, a minimum of 71, and a more normal max of 128. This is why we don't use the max FPS number very often anymore, because it can be a very big outlier. It can only appear on screen for a very short second. So I would ignore the max number and just kind of look at the averages here. And the averages, again, show a similar story, about a 17 FPS difference. Again, that 15 to 20 range is what we're seeing pretty consistently throughout this benchmark run. And this is another demanding AAA title that may require more resources. If you're gaming at 1440p, you're gonna want to have a little more VRAM and GPU horsepower. And lastly, we ran 3D Mark Time Spy, our built-in benchmark tool that allows us to get a final score on the GPU, CPU, and total score. We're gonna take that GPU score and we're gonna calculate a sim per point based on the current price of each graphics card to basically show you guys what the price performance is of each card. With the 9070 GRE, we got a total score of 20,421, a CPU score of 16,033, and a GPU score of 21,458, which results in a 0.0256 cent per point score. When compared to the 9070, they got a total score of 23,042, CPU score of 15,772, and a GPU score of 25,083. That GPU ended up with a score of 0.0219 cent per point score, which obviously shows better price performance, which was to be expected, goes to the 9070 non-GRE, but that is all based on pricing that we're currently seeing right now. We're going to reiterate this 1,000 times throughout the video. If you're buying a GPU in July, which is when you're watching this video, July of 2026, and AMD hasn't raised their price yet on the 9070 non-GRE, you'll want to go with that card. It's just the better option at very little more money, but I really do think even a couple months from now, the picture might be different, and we'll talk more about that during the outro.
So you guys saw the test results. It was pretty obvious. The GRE was going to perform a little bit worse than the 16 gig counterpart. I will say, it's really still a great card. The 9070 GRE with the 12 gigs of VRAM, it's still a great card that we're going to recommend to people. It's just when they're the same price or within 20 bucks, we're obviously going to say get the one that performs slightly better, about 10 to 15%, and you have extra VRAM just in case some of those future games are really VRAM hungry.
So it all comes down to what time you're watching this video. If you're watching it right now, again, at the start of this video, it could save you a lot of time there. Just buy the 9070 non-GRE because it's basically the better value option by being just a little bit more, if not the same price in some scenarios. But if you're watching this a few months later in the future and this card is now, oh, I don't know, $100 to $150 cheaper, maybe even $200 cheaper, we don't know how bad it could be, then the 9070 GRE is a really good value in that scenario. And that's what we like to say here on the YouTube channel. We don't think there are bad graphics cards, there's just bad pricing on certain cards. And when a card's priced accordingly, it can make sense in the market. And I think that's the same thing for the 9070 GRE. Either the other cards need to get more expensive, which is sad, or this card needs to get cheaper, which is good, to where it can have better bang for buck options. But if you want to buy any of these graphics cards from today's video, link in the description down below will be affiliate links and they will help us out. Let us know what you think of these GPUs, and if you are somebody watching in the future, are we still alive? Let us know in the comments down below.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Now we actually use these graphics cards at PCBros.tech, so if you want to go buy a PC with a 9070, 9070 XT, go check us out.
PCBros.tech, you can go buy a PC that is ready to go, shipped to you if you want a really good price performance PC, or you can also get a custom build tailored to you with our build consultation service. Use the link down below and use code ToastyBros on checkout. You will save 3% of your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.